Okay, so thanks for reaching out. I'm going to go through this pretty as quick as I can because you can see there's about 150 different things, 170 things that I checked. If I could spend a day going over every detail here, but hopefully I'll get through this within about an hour. If there's anything you need more detail on, you can always ask me, and we can always just talk about something specific. But since it's so much, I don't want to waste time, so I'm not going to get into too much detail on any one topic. But I'll definitely go over. I'm going to touch each point. So okay. So is there only one GBP entry? So that's Google Business Profile. Oh well, first of all, local search engine optimization comes down to proximity, relevance, prominence. Proximity: how far are you from the person searching? How relevant are you to the search? And how prominent is your business on the web? I like to call it a web footprint, right? What are your reviews like on other sites? All that stuff. And when it comes to SEO, it's not just if you're trying to rank for a content piece, it's not just that one content piece that matters. It takes your entire website into account. So, okay, moving along. So let's see what this screenshot was. Okay, so you do have these multiple listings. You generally don't want to do this. You generally want to have one. This is something we need to talk about. Because you're basically, if somebody searches for class 5, you want all that juice to go to one entry. Now it's different with franchises and multiple locations. It can definitely be okay to have two, but that's something we'll talk about offline if you want to follow up and talk about it later. Spammy competitor listing. So what this means is, I think that's actually it's a pass. There's no spammy competitor listing. What this means, you're in Washington. Let me get I keep forgetting the cities. Vancouver, Washington. So if I search for VoIP service Vancouver, Washington, and I go to Google Maps, you can rank higher if you have the keywords for what you're offering in your business name. Like if your business name was Class 5 Technologies VoIP Service Provider, that would help you in the search rankings. However, no, you don't have it, which is good because you can get suspended, and accounts do get suspended, and none of your competitors are spamming either, so that's good. No problem there. Are you verified? Yes, you are, but you do have those multiple listings. So let me just make a note of this. Multiple listings. Are there errors? No, there's no errors, except there is. Let me go back here. Oh, if we go to, this is what it was. I did this yesterday, so it's going to take a while for it to click in sometimes. We're going to go to, let's go here, Class 5 Technologies, Washington. And if we go into the profile, if we go into services, I think it was services where maybe it's edit profile. It looks like it's review and edit your business information to improve presence on Google. Scroll down to confirm. I don't see where it's what changed. But it does want us to confirm something. So what we would do, and we'll get into all this, we need to make sure everything's okay and then click this confirm button. It's pending something. I didn't see what it was pending though, but we don't want that to be there. And that's something you just want to check once a month. Categories. So the thing I noticed is if you look at, let's do this, VoIP Service Vancouver, Washington, then go to Maps. You want to make sure you're using the right categories, and you want to make sure you're using the categories that the top results are using. And it's good. You're ranking right at the top, so there's really nothing to improve there. Well, there's things to improve, but you're doing a good job. Like reviews. You only have 2 reviews. That's not good. You need to have a lot more. Significantly more. But where is my plepper? Well, let's just look at it over here. There's another menu that should be coming up, which it's not. But anyway, what it would do, these are all this is your primary category. Here it goes. So of these results for this keyword search, the top GMB or GBP, get Google Business Profile categories, are computer support and services. So are you that? You are computer support and service, so I would include that. I wouldn't do that as your primary. I would leave the primary as telecommunications service provider. But I think I would include computer service provider. So this is something we got to talk about. You want to make sure you're using all the proper keywords. The thing that stuck out for me, or categories, is you have fire protection system supplier. and fire alarm supply. Do you really do that? That might be confusing things a little bit because I didn't see any mention of it. It wasn't on the website. So that if you do mention that, it's something we'd want to include on the website too. You basically want to mirror everything you're doing in Google Business Profile on your website. For every service that you offer, you want to mirror that on your website. Anytime you mention a category, you need to have information about that on your website. So moving along. Okay, business info with geo categories, services, benefits. Okay, so basically in your GBP business info, let's go back here. Let's see if I can go. You want to put in, people say this doesn't help your ranking. I don't believe them. And it does. It's just a good practice to describe in detail what you offer. And so Google, there's something I like to say, use what Google gives you. If Google gives you 750 keywords, I think that's what it is, or words, you want to use close to 750. Now, it doesn't mean you have to use 745, just 720, something like that. So I would update this. I would definitely include, oh, you do have Pacific Northwest in here. Okay. But I still would put a city name, and I would mention more of these specific services, like maybe not fax, even though fax is that's the one that comes to mind, of the services here that you offer in the description. Right, so we would optimize that. That's what that means. Business name, not spammy, or duplicate. So the one thing I want to know, one thing I'm interested is when I was Googling around, I noticed there was spelled this way sometimes. This time, this. Let me start back over. I noticed it was sometimes this, sometimes this, sometimes this, and sometimes this. So which one is it? Whatever it is, it needs to be consistent. And I think I know which one it is because I would follow whatever it is on your website. And right here is probably what it is. So what this means is it's probably mentioned consistently on your website the correct way. But anytime it's mentioned externally, like in Yelp or other business directories, we want to make sure we do it the exact same way. That's called citation consistency. Anywhere your business is mentioned, it should be the exact same information everywhere, whether it's address, email address, phone number, website address, etc., etc. Address no duplicate. So, okay, all this means is there's not multiple businesses claiming your address. Well, there is, but you're in a shopping strip or center or whatever you want to call it. So you're a unit. So what that means is that's good. That's no problem. Phone number, no duplicate. Only thing I noticed, you want to make sure the phone number is not duplicated on search because that can just throw Google off. Because Google wants to make sure it's presenting the most accurate results possible. I'm working with a client now that she's moved her business around a lot, and if you go to Yelp or Yellow Pages or Better Business Bureau or Chamber of Commerce and Google and there's Facebook and all these different directories, it's listed in like 8 different places. So Google's not very confident that it's giving correct information. So all that stuff needs to be consistent. Let's see what this link is. Like I said, I forget because I do so much stuff. Okay, so I searched for your phone number. Yeah, okay, and the one that came up was Northwest Communications. So, is this an old business name? If so, we'd want to go to Manta or figure out how to claim this or contact Manta and get this changed to your new business name. So that's something else. This all goes back to citation consistency. And the latest poll I saw of local SEO experts, citation consistency is a top five ranking factor. Can I prove that? No, but all I'm saying is it does matter. Are competitors using a fake address? So if you don't have a storefront, you can't use an address. And if you use an address, you get the benefit of ranking for proximity. If you're a service area business, like if you work out of home and you don't have a physical business, you're kind of starting with your hand tied behind your back. So if any of your competitors are, hold on one second. Okay. If any of your competitors are using a home address, we want to report them and not let them get that advantage when that's not something they actually have. The one I found, and we would just keep going down the list. We'd look at the top 20 results and make sure we report all of them. American Phone Guys. So I went here. And all I did was copied it, and we would just do these one by one. Whoops. And I did yours, and yours actually was a business, so that's good. You can see here it definitely looks like, unless I'm missing something. It's loading up. Well, it's not loading. Here we go. Looks like a house, right? So we don't want your competitors to get an advantage spamming their business name, which none of them are, using fake addresses to get the advantage of proximity, right? You want to, since you actually pay for a building and you actually have a physical address, you want to get that leg up on your competition that just works out of their house from a local search perspective. So that's that. Are you in the location trying to rank for? You are. Service areas. So I think when we talk, you're doing nationwide. And if you look at your service areas, you mentioned, I think it's Washington and Oregon. So I'd want to talk about that. And are you only servicing Washington and Oregon? And there's an argument on both sides. I know a lot of people say you don't want to put service areas that are further than whether it's 30 minutes or 60 minutes or 2 hours or 5 hours from your home address. You don't want to put, even though you can put United States, is that something you would do? So what I might do, so it's something we need to talk about. If you're not serving the rest of the U.S., don't worry about it, but that's something we would need to discuss. What I might do is keep the 2 and then put United States third. So maybe that's a signal to Google that these are primary, but I also do the rest of the U.S., right? So that's something else. That's what this means here. And that's why I said I'm going to ask around how to handle this. If you are, most businesses I work with, and we talked about this on the phone, are local businesses. Plumbers and banks and lawyers and real estate agents. It's really, they're serving people local. It's not a company that does nationwide service, right? Doesn't mean you can't do it. It's 80% the same, but that's normally what I work with. So I would need to ask around. Your hours look good. We just need to make sure they're consistent on all citation locations. Yelp, Yellow Pages, Apple Maps, Bing Places, etc., etc. You don't think people use Bing, and a lot of people don't use Bing, but a lot of people get lazy and they just come to Windows here and type, carpenter near me. Or, if I remember correctly, Bing is actually used in Amazon Alexa, and a lot of people do use Amazon Alexa. Okay, and I'll be right back. I'm going to pause it. Okay, so products. You have the products on GMB. We can improve those. Services. Let me show you. You don't have any services listed. And like I said, you want to synchronize all the services on your website with services here in GBP, right? And there's a whole process for that I have. Let's keep going. I don't think you have an appointment link in GBP. Let's set that up. Attributes. We need to finish filling out the profile here. Add hours. Is there holiday hours, etc., etc., but all this stuff. This stuff here, accessibility, etc., etc. No reason not to fill all this stuff out. So basically, it's finishing the profile up. Okay, attributes, opening date. Your opening date's good. You're not doing any Google Posts. Google Posts are good. Reviews. I would definitely would create a review strategy with you. There's a whole process I have to get reviews, and they're not that hard. Especially a business like yours. It's not like you're selling headphones and you don't know these people. You probably become really good friends with these people. So it should be pretty easy to get reviews, but it's something you definitely need to do more of. It shouldn't be hard at all. I don't think you're using messages. Messages means they can message you from the search results. That's something you want to do. Photos, you don't have logo and cover photo. Basically your photos all need to be updated. You don't have any videos, no big deal. I just like to have 1 or 2 videos just to have them, but we definitely do need more photos. Users, I think I was going to, if you go here, there's a lot of people that have access here. Check that and this is just more of a security thing. Do they all still need access? That's something you definitely want to go check. Questions. What you want is right here. These question and answers. You want to fill these out yourself, and also you want to mirror these on your website. These question always asks. And this also that button says know this place. You want to fill all that information out too if it appears. It doesn't always appear. So that's that. So you can see this is a lot of optimization with Google Business Profile. That's Google Business Profile. So Screaming Frog. Screaming Frog is a site scanner, so your site structure is good, meaning it's a site spider, I'm sorry, that most things are available within 3 clicks. This is good. I mean, as long as most people say under 2, that's a little bit insane. And the things you have that are 3, they're like images or whatever, so it's no big deal. When you get into a problem, if things are not available after like 7 clicks, that's when it starts to become a problem. You don't have that problem, so we're good. Everything's indexed. properly. No mixed content. Your SSL cert does expire on April 7th, just a heads up. You do have some broken links. I would install Broken Link Checker plugin. I have a video on that I can share with you. Actually, I'll get it real quick. Well, ask me later. I'm not sure. I think it should be there, but maybe, there's a plugin that'll basically it automatically monitors your website for broken links, and it'll notify you as soon as it finds one. And you set it to like make sure every link is scanned every 5 days, and you set the threshold so it doesn't overwhelm the CPU down to like 10%, so it doesn't bog down the web server. You don't want it set to like, it can use 90% of all resources because you're an IT guy. I was in IT, and I still kind of am in IT. I manage a lot of web servers, so that I understand all that, and that would be pretty stupid. Redirects, your redirects are good. You're not using in your URLs for your web pages. Let's click that, get that from blinking. Okay, pause it real quick. Okay, I had to pause it, so let's go back. I think I was on URLs. Basically, you want to include the keyword in the URL, which you do a good job of. But a lot of them don't have the geo information. So if you were doing, this is images. Let's go to page titles. See, Nortel phone show. Well, that's not geo specific. Avaya phone systems, and then you put the geo information, right? If it was specific to a geo, but that's something we'd have to discuss. If you're doing nationwide, then you wouldn't do that. So who knows? But now that they're established URLs, I wouldn't change them. But I'm saying that's a best practice. Meta description, same thing there. Meta descriptions need to have more geo stuff in them. You're not using any meta keywords, which aren't a thing anymore. That's how we used to do SEO like 15 years ago. That's good. You're not using H1s on the places that I check. So, for example, you want to. This actually might be actually, I don't think this is. Well, let's go here. Let me just show you your homepage. And this is stuff we would get into a lot more detail. So all this stuff that I'm putting together, based on everything I'm finding here, I put together a plan, and it normally takes about between 4 and 8 months to get through. It would just depend on availability. It would depend on after I had time to actually think through everything and document everything, and if there's third-party issues we come up with, et cetera, right? So this isn't something that gets fixed within 3 weeks. This is a long process. So what you want to do, you want to focus on your keyword in H1s, like H1s and then H2s. So on this page, you don't even have an H1, I don't believe. Let's not do MetaMask. And I notice right here, see all you have is H2 sales, right? Google looks to try to figure out what is on pages by looking within H1s and H2s. When I say H1s and H2s, I'm talking in HTML, obviously. Okay, moving along. Links, your links are pretty good. Oh, wait, what did I do here? Let's see. Oh, there's places, anytime you mention your services in a blog post or something, why am I turned my notifications off? I don't know why I'm getting notifications. Oh, well. Like right here, you need a business phone system. This should link to your business phone system page, whichever these is the appropriate one, right? So we need to make sure and just create a better linking structure for your site, internal linking structure. You have some external links, but I would like to do more external links. Let me get rid of that. Where's that image? Close this. Anchor text. Your anchor text is pretty good. That's like the title of the link. It's pretty good. Just doesn't want to be overly spammy, and yours isn't. Canonicals are good. Your images, they're kind of SEO friendly, but you have some very large ones. Images these days. Let's see. See, these are JPEG, PNG. Definitely don't use PNGs unless it's a transparent PNG. But let's see what this is, because this is the wrong one. Let me go back. Okay, this is a 1.2 meg images. I can get most images using WebP at least under 100K. Most of them a lot smaller than that. So, and I have all processed for this. So this definitely should be a WebP or at least a JPEG. JPEG, we could probably get this down to 250, but there's no reason not to use WebP nowadays. And this is for performance reasons, because performance is a ranking factor, right? Loading a page, the average web page on the web is about 3 megs. That website, that image alone, I think was, 1.2 meg? It's not that big of a deal on a home broadband network on a decent laptop, but where you'll start to notice problems with it, well, just in the algorithms, they are not going to like it. but on mobile phones, right? Especially mid to lower tier mobile phones, and especially on slower Wi-Fi networks. So that's that. Underperforming thin content. Like I said at the beginning, Google uses your whole website when determining if it should rank something or not. So if you have a lot of content that nobody's going to, or if it's spammy, that's stuff we would just need to purge out or combine it with other content. That's something I could determine if I had access to Google Analytics, and I could do that, hooking it into Screaming Frog by going to here. You can hook in Google Analytics, page speed stuff, Google Search Console, etc., etc. Okay, SEO Ability Scan, which is a free scan. It's just a third-party scan that I do. Everything came up good. I found some issues, but I'm already bringing those up in other places. Same thing with the SEO Optimer scan. Let me get a sip of water here real quick. Okay, and you would need to do a content gap analysis in Ahrefs to determine what content your competition's ranking for that you're not. So that's something we would do. I noticed some companies that some of your what I think is your competition is covering topics that you don't appear to be. That maybe you don't focus on those topics, like those certain PBXs or those certain VoIP systems or whatever it is. But I did notice that. This is just, if you decide you want me to help you out here, this is something I need to redo. The tool is having issues. This is basically finding out what we can move up in the rankings for. Link intersect tool in Ahrefs. This is basically finding out where your competitors are getting backlinks that you're not getting backlinks from. So it's something I would redo. YouTube video for each landing page. It's good to have videos on landing pages. When I say landing page, I mean all your service pages. You don't have them for all of them. It's not always possible, but it's a good long-term goal. I have clients that I've been working with for years. This just every month we'll add a new video. Sometimes every 2 months, right? And we've done probably, the one client I'm thinking of, we've probably done 10 videos the last year. And we still got like 30 more to go. So a lot of times what they do is they just take the investments, they take the profits they've brought in from the SEO benefits and just put that back into further optimizing it, right? So they're funding the improvements based on the extra revenue that's coming in. Nationwide competition observations. Okay, so this is something I would do. I would look at your local competition and your nationwide competition and see what they're doing well that you're not doing well. So that's what pending means. You don't have any sample or any spammy or any weird content being indexed. You can just do site:/domain, your domain name, and see what Google has indexed for your website. Okay, let me go to Google Search Console. I know I'm probably going through all this fast, but like I said, if you need me to cover any of this in more detail, that's fine. But it's just a balance. I could spend an entire day talking about just this document. What are we on? We're on 70. Okay, this is going to get a lot quicker as we move along here. So 23 minutes in, probably in the next 20 minutes we'll be done. So let me go here. Let me go to your property. Let me just show you pages. You don't have any removals, I don't think. Let me double check that. Yeah, nothing there. You do have some pages and we would just go through all these in detail. Currently crawled but not indexed. A lot of these pages are going to be junk and they're not going to be indexed. But see, like feed doesn't need to be indexed, comments feed, all this stuff doesn't need to be indexed. The one that stuck out was this Portland, VoIP for Portland. So this, even though you have it, it's not being indexed. And it's not bad. Generally when this happens, you want to port more links to it from other places on your website, or we just need to lengthen it. And that generally fixes it 80% of the time. Sometimes it just can't get it indexed for whatever reason. There's third-party indexers we can use to try to help out to get more backlinks pointed at it, but it's just one of those things. So that's just another issue. And there's other discovered Carolina index. I don't think there was anything here. Quote request received. 4 reasons to switch to VoIP services video conference calls. Okay, it's a content piece. It'd be nice to get that index. So that's something else we would focus on there. So as you can see, this just takes a lot of stuff. Your website doesn't appear spammy in the Wayback Machine. You're not using multiple domains, I don't think. So do you have class5technologies.com? Do you also just confirm you're not using, class5.net or anything? You want to make sure all the traffic you're getting goes to one website. You don't want to split those rewards over multiple domains. You want to make sure they're all going to that one domain. I guess you could call all that juice. This is more competitor stuff, which I would do. See what? Sometimes this isn't really audit stuff. It's always going to be pending when I do these audits. But the reason I include this in there is because I take all this and then I put together the action plan, right? So that's why it's all in here. So I probably should take it out, but whatever. System worked for me. Okay. So confirm this. Hey, I know I checked one of the pieces of your content and it's not totally optimized. And this is the whole process I put together about optimizing content. You can watch the video there if you want. You are in the right category, which is good. You don't have geo-specific landing pages, geo meaning location, like you did have that Portland one there. I just noticed that. But we want to do more of those for your top ranking, the highest traffic locations. So probably like, the biggest city in Washington, the biggest city in Portland. We don't want to have landing pages for specific services in those specific cities. Probably, just depends. Google, I don't think you can do Google guaranteed. This is more for like plumbers and stuff like that, and like people that do work on your house. But that's part of the template. Domain age. Your domain is your company's been around since 1995, I think, or 85. But your website's only been here for 6 years. So my question is, what was it 6 years ago? Was it that Northwest, whatever? If so, if you still have that domain, we could point. If it switched 6 years ago, you're not going to have a lot of stuff still coming to it. But it's something we should have redirected it, and maybe you do have that. But that would be interesting to know. Backlink profile. So this is interesting. You never want spammy backlinks. Now, buying backlinks is a reality, but there's certain ways to do it. What I want to know is what happened here in around July 2022. This is a pretty natural backlink profile, and it's growing at a natural rate, and then all of a sudden, boom. So what happened right here? So do we need to go in and disavow those links? I don't know. That's a controversial topic. It seems more and more now Google is just ignoring spammy links rather than penalizing websites. But, I guess it depends on how bad they are. Your website is a favicon. Your 404 page is good. That's good. Robots is good. If we did decide to work together, I would, as part of the 6-month plan, I would lock down your website. Even if you don't want to do any SEO work with me, I also do a security audit like this, and then I lay out exactly what the issues are. It's not just a plugin. It's a lot more than a plugin, but one of the benefits is I have an agency license to iTheme Security Pro. So you would get that for free as long as I'm doing this. And they just changed their licensing structure to where agencies no longer can have unlimited licenses. So there's going to be a lot less people offering that. But that's something that's part of it. Same thing with performance, but your performance is pretty good. So I would give you, if you want, a WP Rocket for free as well. I'm pretty sure you're using it. Let me double check, because it doesn't really matter, but right. So if we work together, I can just give it to you for free. So if you're paying for it yearly, you don't have to pay for it anymore. Service page performance. So your landing pages, your service pages, they perform pretty well. It is mobile friendly. Although there's a font overlap, if you look at it on a mobile, you can go look at that and see what I'm talking about. That's something I would fix. Blog content. It is it's optimized focusing on your service category. It's pretty good, but it's something we'd probably look at a little more. Just do this. I don't know why I put yes on there. Whoops. You are mentioning your products and services in your content, but we need to link to those services. TikTok, not very many cool things on TikTok you could probably do. Although, I don't know, people get into all kinds of weird stuff. You might want to be on TikTok. I don't know. I think it's really good, but I don't think it's good for there's not a lot of people that are going to be watching TikTok videos on like installing PBXs and stuff. I wouldn't think. Twitter, you're not on Twitter. Who cares? Doesn't matter. Facebook's where you need to be, and that's where you are. Open Graph, you have it installed. Oh, and it's not updated, so it's just something you need to keep up to date. What you can do is it's annoying, but you can post your blog content, and you can also, anytime you get a review, you can post a screenshot of your review. It doesn't have to be a lot. I mean, even ideally if you do once a day, but even if you do it like once every couple of weeks, whatever, just as a signal to Google and to your customers that are researching your company that you're alive and you do use these platforms. YouTube, you do have YouTube, and I subscribe to it. You have 10 subscribers, but it's something that I would start making videos for. Like a lot of probably how to configure a lot of these things. There's people searching for that stuff. At a minimum, it's going to increase your web footprint that Google's seeing, and it's going to increase brand exposure. So that's a big thing as well. So you can aim to just do one every couple weeks. If you can't do that, one a month, whatever. And I'm working now on solutions using AI to where you can kind of, well, you wouldn't want to use this for a high-tech video like that, but we would want to create videos for all of your services. And we would do those making just kind of cheesy, generic marketing videos called video sales letters, for PBX services in Eugene, Washington, or Eugene, Oregon, wherever that. I think it's in Eugene, Oregon. That's what that is. Other social, whatever. Okay, Moz local scan doc. I'll show you. So these are all citations, sources. We talked about citation consistency. You can see here your address in Google Business Profile is 5300 MacArthur, and this is the phone number 949. Okay, let's go search Google Maps. So 5300 949. Facebook 5300. Okay, this one doesn't. Okay, this one has a suite. This one doesn't have a suite. This one doesn't have a suite. So we need to figure out why that is. Facebook. This is 493. This doesn't have a phone number. 949. See, this is 493. So the bottom line, and you don't have to be in all these directories. It's something we would focus on. There's a whole thing about it. We would want to make sure all this is totally consistent because it's not right now. Website missing, etc., etc. Yeah, so if you're going to be in a directory, and there's more directories in this, but if you're going to be in directory, it all needs to be 100% consistent. There's all kinds of niche business directories, like if you Google for, Washington Business Directory, get in all those directories. Or you can search for top VoIP providers. And you can see a list of top VoIP providers. You want to be in those directories. Do you want to be in Public Square? It's a new business directory for people that are more conservative. So if you're liberal, it's not something you want to be in. But if you're cool with that, it's something I definitely would be in. I just added this to the checklist probably a couple weeks ago, and I'm working on with my first client for it. But those are pretty hardcore people. Like, politics is hardcore, whether you're on the left or the right. If you can find a directory that's specific to your political affiliation, I don't think it's going to do any harm. Maybe I haven't thought through that, but I don't think it is. So service landing pages with Kia, we didn't optimize the service landing pages. That's what that goes into. Oh, you want to mention all of your service on the homepage, and I think they are, like right here with these blurbs. This is good, but I think there's more. Maybe there's not, but that's something we would talk about. So anytime you mention your services, you want, and also I would, for like this somewhere here needs to link to this service page. Link to service page in blur. That's what that means. Okay. Okay, getting close. So landing pages for your Google Business Profile category. Don't have that. Something we should do. And the keywords people use. We'll get into all that. Things to do. So anytime you're creating a landing page, on the landing page you want to put a lot of city information, like things to do in Portland or whatever. So that's something we would go over. Since you don't have these, you don't have any of this stuff. Whoops, This is basically how to craft the landing page. Your geo locations are mentioned in the footer. That's good, but we need to confirm that. So let's actually, right here. So it looks like you're only going to serve, you're not going to serve nationwide, and that answers that question. But we would just want to confirm all this stuff. So let me add a note. Let's just do a no, just because we need to confirm it. Because whatever you put there, you also need to put in Google Business Profile. Well, you put the state name, so that's good. But if you're doing the entire states, then yeah, okay, let's do the entire states. But if you're doing just certain cities in the states, let's do the cities. You could also do zip codes, etc., etc. So moving right along. Links, went over that a little bit. External links, you have some, but I would improve them. I would do more. External links are a signal to Google that you're part of the web ecosystem and you want to help people get from place A to place B, and it tends to reward websites that provide a lot of external links. Your call to action above the fold, no. So on your home page, you want to have something here. You do have this up here, but right here you want to have a button that says like contact us now, right? More of a marketing thing. I think it's overhyped, but it is a best practice. It's something I would do because it apparently works because everybody talks about it. Proper keyword density. You want to make sure you're using keywords X amount of times on a page, 3% of the time or under, something we would optimize. That's 3 is actually pretty high. I like to keep it around 1 to 2, something we would optimize. Any awards, membership certifications, media mentions. I'm sure you have a ton of certifications. That's something I would include in here. I do like that you mentioned the companies here. This is really cool. Shows that you're legitimate and people where you're at probably recognize these business names. I would move these up. Whoops. But also I would include certifications and stuff. I think that's really good. So it's called social proof. It's proof to people deciding if they want to do business with you that you actually, are worth your salt, because anybody can put a web page up like saying they're a business, but you actually are a business, which is why I would include probably a picture of your storefront, your offices on your website somewhere in the about section. And we'll get into that here in a little bit. No case studies, do that. We want to put testimonials as well. Socials on the web, you do link to your socials. I said earlier, check top best. So top VoIP providers, and we want to get in those directories. Phone on the top right corner in the footer, make it clickable. Yours is in the top left, not a big deal, but ideally you would want to put it on the top right. It's just where people look, not a huge deal. Something I would do though, if it's easy enough. Contact information is in the footer. Address is in the footer. Areas we serve is in the footer. You do have an about us. I would want to, what a lot of businesses find success with is also not only having an about us, but why us. Because there's a ton of VoIP providers, but what makes you different, right? So if I'm researching a plumber, they're all doing the same thing, but why? Like maybe they offer 24-hour service. Maybe it's, get this service, then you get the next one half, or whatever it is. There has to be something that makes you different from your competition, and that's what you need to emphasize. Why? And you also need to put that here, because this is just saying like what you do, not really why you're better. You need to emphasize more on why you're better. Is crypto accepted? No, it's something I definitely would accept. It would just kind of set you apart from everybody else. And people are searching that. Like they'll search for VoIP provider that accepts Bitcoin, right? So that's a page you could have. Something I would do. I could help you with that. You don't have legal pages. Do you really need them? I don't know. It's up to you. You definitely don't want to use as many. You use a lot of stock images. Google doesn't like stock images as much as it does real images. So that's something I would consider. Going back and just taking a lot of real images. Just do it with your phone. You know what I mean? Let's focus more on the service benefits, not really what the services are. It's just a marketing thing. Have a little button. This is more for like restaurants and stuff. You're not really on Yelp, but you can say find us on the Chamber of Commerce page, etc. Something we would talk about. Put together a plan if we decide to. Hours are good. I think I duplicated up. Oh, it's hours on your website. You don't have hours on your website, but you really don't have hours, so not really that big of a deal. You don't have an FAQ on your website, which I would. Don't have a map, which I would. Don't have schema configured, which I would. Give away something that's good clickbait. We can get into that. You don't have that. I would. Don't have a guaranteed. That's more probably not. Again, that's for, if you're offering like, repairing a bathroom or something, you're not really doing that. But it's part of the template. Add prices. Your prices are custom. Probably not needed. Unless you're selling hardware. Your everything index looks good. Referral bonuses, not really for you probably. I would set up a Google alert for your business right now, so you'll get an email anytime somebody sends you an alert. I don't think you probably have it set up. Most people don't. We'd want to configure Google Analytics. We would want to go look inside Google Search Console, which I did, and I went over it a little bit. Something we'd get into more detail, but there's nothing glaring in there. Bing Places, you want to get in Yahoo Local, you want to get in Apple Maps, and now it's called Business Connect as of last week. You want to get in these 2 international search engines, not because they're going to hire you to do anything, but hopefully your content gets indexed, because any traffic to your website is good traffic, and you're establishing topical authority. If a lot of people start going to your website to learn about VoIP stuff, Google's going to start putting you higher when people is looking to hire a VoIP provider, right? Or a telecommunications provider, because that's why that content's real important. It brings people to your site. It's like the I don't know, I can't think of the right word, but it's what gets people to your site and gets that traffic. Traffic leads to more traffic, which leads to more traffic. Let's monitor your website with Uptime Robot and make sure if it goes down, you get alerted by it. Your HTTP redirects to HTTPS, that's good. W redirects to non-WWW, or whichever way it was, that's good. Branded anchors, that's a duplicate. Is that there? I need to clean that up. Do you need a Wikipedia page? Probably not. We could do that, but I said no. I don't know why that's here. I meant to put that up top, I think. But we could do a Wikipedia page. Actually, it's a legitimate company, but I don't know. Most local businesses don't have a good video page. I don't know. Past you don't look like you're doing any plagiarism and you're not duplicating a lot of content. That's good. I like to do user Bob and inspect it. So I want to see how people are using my website. And it's something I do monthly. So we can get, it just records people using your website like Hotjar type of thing. User Bob is people actually talk out loud and you can hear them using your website and what they think. Definitely would have live chat. That would be something I would do immediately. That's how people like to communicate. You're not doing Google Ads, something we could do. I'm not a Google Ads expert, but you know, I'm probably better than 70% of the people out there. You probably, I don't know if there's a tech category on Just Answer. This is mainly for doctors and lawyers and stuff like that. So not local advertising. It's a good way because local links are really important. So doing advertising at very local specific things with churches, clubs, schools, Little League, that's something we would definitely look into because those local backlinks from websites that are similar. If you get a backlink from let's say a website about food, Google's not gonna reward you that much because it's totally irrelevant. But if you get a backlink from a magazine related to VoIP, that's good. If you get a backlink from a news organization or a charity or something that's in your same geographical area, that's really good. And the advertising with these places is really cheap, so it's something definitely to consider. You don't need foot traffic, because it's not really a local business, but it's just a cheap way to get foot traffic, because you can offer a free gift card on Craigslist. And make sure we need to do the Bright Local audit if you want to. It's something we need to do pretty quickly, and we need to make sure we're tracking all the results. And I have a spreadsheet that I track everything. I do a monthly report to make sure we're on pace. Because if we're not tracking everything, let me just see if I can bring it up real quick. Here, it's not pretty, but it works. I'm not going to pay $50 a month for a tool that looks pretty. I just want to know if what I'm doing is working. So what's your Alexa ranking, Google Analytics sessions, bounce rate. Alexa got retired, actually. They probably need to update this. This is Google Search Console. In search, how many clicks are you getting? Broken links, Google Search Console stuff. Then we get into like performance stuff. This is domain authority, trust flow. This is performance stuff. This is Google Business Profile stuff here. So how many clicks you're getting for Google Business Profile, how many reviews, Yelp stuff. You mean this doesn't apply to you. Then we're going to track certain keywords. So it would be, VoIP company Seattle or whatever. So that's it. I know it's kind of quick, but like I said, I could go on forever. If there's anything specific you need me to explain in more detail, let me know and we'll go over it. If you don't want to do any SEO stuff with me, take this and do what you want with it. That's totally fine. People do that. But I would definitely, even if you don't want to do SEO stuff, I would definitely honestly get a security audit done. I'm going to find places that you need to harden. Most of my security work, most of my business for security work, sadly 90% comes after the fact. People pay me thousands and thousands of dollars to fix their website when they could have spent a few $100s up front to harden it and prevented the problem. Whether it's two-factor authentication, whether it's monitoring for file changes, whether it's changing the URL of the login page, whether it's forcing password changes, forcing strong passwords altogether. There's all kinds of things. Only allowing access to the WordPress backend from specific IP addresses. All kinds of stuff like that. So it's not just a plugin. It's a lot more than just installing a plugin. It's a lot more than installing a plugin. So I hope this helps. Let me know. And, yeah. Hope this helps. Hope you found it useful. All right. See ya.